Hey guys! Today I want to talk about something I've been thinking about for a while. Microtransactions and their place in games. I'm not generally a fan of them, but I can usually accept them in multiplayer games like Overwatch. As long as they're just cosmetics, and as long as the only thing microtransactions do is speed things up a bit, they're alright. That being said, I feel they have no place in single player games. But whatever, that's besides the point. There's an important distinction to be made immediately, and that's the fact that there is an overwhelming difference between selling cosmetics with no effect on gameplay and selling power that shifts the balance of the game. All that stuff is well and good, but I want to talk about how microtransactions, cosmetic microtransactions at that, ruined one of my favorite gaming experiences. Yup, I'm talking about Destiny. I know, a lot of people hated Destiny when it came out. Those E3 presentations didn't help, and the marketing certainly didn't either. The world's most expensive game, and you can go anywhere, and Peter Dinklage will be in it. That's funny. Look at how that went. But that being said, it's hard not to get hyped by that. Now, let's be fair and step away and acknowledge the fact that Bungie themselves only saw like a fraction of that money. And the fact that they've got to work with really shitty tools like how the level editor takes 12 hours to just open, and the fact that the main story guy got fired right before launch and they had to scramble to rewrite everything just before launch. And yeah, the point is that the hype was devastating to the game's reception. The expensive marketing was talking about a game that was frankly not the one we got. And while I'm sure Bungie did the best they could, we ended up with a very different Destiny than what was promised. But I was never affected by it. In fact, I loved it, even if it was grindy as all hell. Even if the story was underwhelming, and even if you really could not go anywhere you wanted. Why did I like it so much? Well, the shooter mechanics feel fucking amazing for one. They're incredibly spot on, each shot is just punchy enough, and the damage an enemy takes when you headshot them feels powerful. You feel awesome landing headshot after headshot, and even more so if you have the Firefly perk, which makes them explode after headshot kills. Also, is there a perk called Firefly because that one guy from Firefly is in it? Whatever, who knows. But maybe more importantly than the shooting mechanics, I never paid attention to the marketing. Yeah, the E3 presentations looked nice, but I forgot all about them afterwards and didn't really feel the hype. The only reason I bought the game to begin with was because I had nothing else on the PlayStation 4 to play, so Destiny kinda became my go-to game. And it also became my friend's go-to game as well. After a while, we built a really cool raid group, a clan. In fact, I met one of my best friends through Destiny and the Destiny subreddit. He's one of the key people who kept pushing me to launch the channel too, so if you're watching this, Tay, then know that you have my thanks. In any case, the hype and the disappointment didn't hit me like it hit the ones who had paid attention to the marketing before release. In fact, how hype can kill a game is something I might discuss in the future. But for now, just know that the reason I wasn't disappointed in Destiny was because I went in with zero expectations. Hell, I didn't even know what kind of game it was when I bought it. I was also very active on the different forums and subreddits, and I got to read almost every little thing the developers said online. I ended up getting a lot more respect for what happened during development, and I came to appreciate the game even more because I found it so fun, even though it had been such a tricky game to make. I mean, I knew it was a rough game. That was obvious just from looking at the length of the loading screens and how inconvenient everything was with the menus and the upgrade elements and all that. But it was a rough game that I shared with my friends, and it just got so much more fun because of it. And just to clarify, yes, I knew that Destiny had a lot of problems back then. I mean, gameplay-wise, convenience-wise, and so on. But what made the experience start to crack a bit was when I noticed that Bungie started acting differently with their decisions with the game. Take this for example. They completely killed one's class super ability right before a huge PvP event to prevent an exploit. But on the other hand, they also killed the class's viability in the event. They maybe should have just postponed the PvP event until they fixed the problem. But like that wasn't enough, they also stopped being as active on the Destiny subreddit. But one of the worst things I remember is their incompetent handling of a 4% damage buff they were going to give to auto rifles. It ended up being a buff of only 0.04% when the update finally happened 2 months later, which is, what, maybe 10 more damage per million? And then they went on to say that, oh, everything was working as intended. You see, the original patch notes had a typo. It was never meant to be 4%, but it was supposed to be 0.04% all along. Yay, that will really help out in PvP. Yeah, nobody believed them. See, I could kind of look past all that because I was still having fun. They even said that they would never introduce microtransactions, and back then we all swallowed that. Hook, line, and sinker. And even now, I kind of believe that Bungie themselves didn't really want to add the microtransactions when they did. Maybe it was Activision tying their hands, but no matter how you slice and dice it, the microtransactions were still added to the game.
Hey, but you just said you didn't usually mind it too much in multiplayer games, and Destiny is clearly a multiplayer game. Why would this bother you when Overwatch doesn't?
Well, see, the microtransactions started being brought into the game as part of events. It started with a Halloween event where everyone were given a bunch of paper masks of bosses or other notable NPCs, and it was rad. If you wanted to keep these cosmetic masks for after the event was over, you could buy mask packs with a newly introduced premium currency. These packs would contain one random mask you could keep, some paper glue to make your other normal masks permanent, and maybe some other goodies too. Alright. Nice, but, and there is a but here, but one mask was super rare to get the regular version of, but you could get it in these mask packs. This mask was fucking cool as hell. It made your head into a friggin' skull on fire, which made its own sound effects and everything. It was rad as hell, so everybody wanted one, me included. The only issue is that this was a super rare random drop from packs that took forever to get. I mean, it didn't take that long, but compound that into many tries and, well, you can see how it takes some time, especially with these loading screens, come on. Or you could get them in these microtransaction packs instead, without the need to make it permanent later. The issue is that they're really rare in the microtransaction packs as well, meaning that you could feasibly spend $5 and get it, or $100 and still not have it. It was basically like a lottery. So me and my friends bought a few packs, feeling lucky. And guess what? We actually got the mask pretty quickly, so no worries. I saw on the subreddit that a lot of people didn't get it, and it made me feel happy because now I had a pretty exclusive item. Fast forward to a couple months later, Destiny had been struggling with a huge content drought after the Taken King DLC dropped, but in January, there was a new event. A racing event that was set to be awesome. And, you know, fucking was. Racing on your Sparrows was pretty intense, even if the odd lag spike or bug could fuck up your positions. Damn it! Now, the microtransactions were also back in full force here, and you could even buy a book which not only gave you rewards, but also tracked your win progress. In other words, you kind of paid $10 to get more quests with more rewards, and that kind of felt wrong, considering so far you've been able to get all the items in the game by just playing the game. But this was placed behind a paywall. But I bought the book because I love the game and I wanted those sweet racing armor pieces. I mean, look at it! I still have them. And it even lights up when I complete the set. That's so sweet. But there was one other thing you could collect in this event that you couldn't earn through quests and grinding. A lot of different racing Sparrows were introduced, and you could get them either by doing quests or buying microtransactions or whatever. You couldn't get all of them though, so if you wanted them all, you'd have to buy some premium packs. Kinda like with the masks. There were also some horns for those Sparrows, which were also in the pool of packs you could buy from the microtransaction market, just like the other event with the masks. But while I say it was just like with the masks, there is one key difference. There was one Sparrow which you had to get as a random drop in the packs. This is just like the Skull Mask, but unlike the Skull Mask, you couldn't use a material to make it permanent from a more common variant, and you couldn't really get it through normal play either, unless you have the luck of a Greek fucking god and got it in the one free pack you got at the start of the event. Anyway, everybody else seemed to think that the normal event Sparrows with the fire or the lightning were cooler. You know, the ones you could normally get through the quests and stuff, but I didn't. I wanted the cool one with the black and orange colors that make it look like it came out of Tron. So I bought a few horn packs, and I didn't get it. Alright, no worries. I bought a few more and I still didn't get it. After a few more packs and I had collected all the horns, but still no Sparrow, my mentality shifted from, oh, just one more pack, to, the next one must be the one because I've been on such a losing streak now, so the chance of winning must be higher, right? To later on, oh god, I've sunk so much money into these packs. If I give up now, it'll all be for nothing. And mind you, I've taken a year of psychology at the university, so I recognized every trap I fell into, every logical fallacy. Let's see, you have the classic gambler's fallacy, yup. Classic sunk cost fallacy, but I still couldn't do anything about it, even though I recognized everything. The Sparrow was only available for a very limited time, and the whole game is a very loot-driven experience. Of course I wanted it while it was still available. When I finally got it though, I had blown at least $40 on microtransactions for that stupid Sparrow, if not more. At least 50 if you count the racing logbook from before as well. All for just one Sparrow. A fucking cosmetic in-game item that I somehow felt compelled to get. Because up to this point, the whole game had been reinforcing that I should be grinding for the loot. There are even kiosks around now, so you can see which of the Sparrows you have and which ones you have yet to get. I didn't want to leave an empty hole forever in my collection. It didn't even feel good when I got it. I felt used, I felt betrayed. Like I said, I knew the traps, yet I still fell into them. This feeling of betrayal was actually so powerful for me that it made me quit playing the game. A game I had played religiously for 2 years, almost every day. On that day, the magic veil was removed from my eyes. All the things that I had forgotten about the game's flaws suddenly bothered me a whole lot more. I felt like the whole game was just one large Skinner box and that I had been used for so long. It all felt so shady. I logged back on for the Valentine's Day event, but it just wasn't the same. Like I said, the magic veil was gone, and my opinion of the game had gone down the shitter as well. And that was the last time I logged on, and it was only for a couple of minutes before I logged out again. In other words, the game was actually dead to me even long before the Valentine's Day event. And when I quit, a bunch of my friends also quit. Some, of course, stayed on and kept playing, but a lot of them stopped. Tay, whom I mentioned before, was one of them, and here's the real kicker. I recognized that it was my fault for falling into those traps when I recognized them for what they were. I recognized that I acted like an irrational, stupid monkey by buying more microtransaction packs when I knew I should have stopped. But here's some food for thought. I wouldn't have fallen into those traps if they weren't placed there to begin with. I think game developers should have a certain kind of responsibility not to take advantage of their user base in that way. If you got to add microtransactions to keep feeding more events or keep the light on as a developer, sure, I can respect that, but only as long as I feel they respect me back. And boy, I did not feel respected. If anything, I almost felt like a tool. A cow being milked for money. And you know what the worst part is? During that event, Destiny milked me for, what, let's say $50. But in the same breath, they killed any joy I had in the game. And if they had kept the goodwill, I'd have gladly paid $10 for the next event, and then $10 for the next event after that, and then bought the next $30 DLC, and then the next $60 Destiny game. They have a 10-year plan for this franchise, from 2014 to 2024, but because of their poor handling of microtransactions, I was just out at the start of 2016, and I was left with a very, very bad taste in my mouth. They could have earned hundreds of dollars from me over the course of those 8 years, but they jeopardized that long-term income with a short-term plan. That sucks. It really sucks. And that's why Destiny is such a disappointment for me as well. Albeit not for the same reason everybody else was disappointed with it, but hey, let's roll with it. What hurts the most is that I still miss the game from time to time. I miss the fun interactions I had with my friends. I miss the overall look of the game. I miss popping skulls of enemies. I miss racing people on the Sparrows. I even have that brand new gambling event Sparrow, and I don't even think I ever got to use it. So I guess the money really was wasted. That's really the sad end of that. Of course, I don't ask for microtransactions to be abolished, far from it, but I want them to be used in a way that treats the customers with respect. On a happier note, I did turn the game on, and I played for 2 days. I needed some footage, and I needed to see if the game had changed, because I do believe in second chances. I even asked my friend Tay to come help out, and we immediately found out some stuff. First, there's nothing to do in the game since we don't have the newest DLC, but to be honest, that much was to be expected. Secondly, There have been newer events, and you can now earn every item from doing in-game activities, like the weekly Nightfall Strike. Yes, even the microtransaction items. This means it can take a long time, but you can still earn it. Hell, they even kept those rewards available after the event was over, and they apparently gave everyone the records book for free the next time the Sparrow Racing League came around. That's pretty nice. It shows that Bungie is willing to learn from their mistakes. It was also surprisingly easy to get back into the game. Muscle memory isn't to be underestimated apparently. Even by jumping into random strikes, me and Tay had a lot of fun laughing at how often our match-made teammate died. Only for both of us to die later, and then the fucking triumphant moment when the other guy actually came through and saved us both. Sure, by then we could respawn, but I mean, the guy was a hero. Couldn't respawn and take that away from him. For me though, I'm afraid it might have been too little too late. The game just didn't have the same luster. Knowing that there were lots of items I could never get kinda ruined the collectible aspect of it. And because the game's flaws were laid so bare to me back when I quit, I don't really think I can return to Destiny. Maybe with Destiny 2, but I'd be incredibly cautious regarding that game. So if they want me back on board, they'd have to knock it out of the park with it. So, to my main point. Viewers who are watching, don't make the same mistakes I did. You might regret it. And to you, dear developers. First, how the fuck did you find this video? No, but for real though, please take note of this cautionary tale of microtransactions. It ruined Destiny for me, and when I came back to it a year later and some of those issues were fixed, it just wasn't enough. The game had been tarnished and ruined for me from before, and seeing how we're entering a world where microtransactions are becoming more and more common, at least know how to use them respectfully. It only takes a customer one moment of weakness to spend more money than they want to, so please, you have a responsibility not to misuse them. Man, sorry for that rant. It's been stewing for a while and, well, today it kinda came out. I'll end on a happier note and a discussion. What do you guys think about microtransactions? Do you have any examples of where it works great? Any similar examples like mine? I read all the comments, so don't worry about it not being noticed or not getting discussed. In any case, thank you for all the support. And I'm sure that this might be a controversial episode and a lot of people are going to tell me I'm wrong. And to that end, well, maybe you're right. I'd love to hear what you guys think I should do. Should I give Destiny a second chance? Should I buy the new DLC and explore what it has to offer? Or should I actually count the game off as dead? I honestly don't know. That being said though, you guys are really cool. Thank you to all of you. And not to mention, thank you to Wise for designing these sprites for me on Twitter. I really appreciate it. And on that note, if anyone else wants to do the same, you can send them to me on Twitter or email or even comments as well. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll become something I use for every video. In any case, one last thing before I go. I heard that a lot of people don't actually get my videos in the subscription feed, so you know me. I don't want to ask you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, that stuff is just no. But what I will say is, if you're not getting my videos in your subscription feed, maybe click the bell down in the description. That will turn notifications on and actually notify you when I upload a new video, like, well, this one. Well, in any case, have a great day, people. See you next video. Holla bra. Secondly, there have been newer events, and you can now earn every item from doing in-game and you couldn't really get it through normal play either, unless you have the I burped into the microphone. Unless you... This feeling of betrayal was so powerful. This feeling of betrayal was actually so powerful. Powerful.
What?
I hope the microphone doesn't pick it up. It's set pretty low, so it shouldn't pick up random like noises, like you rattling with a paper or something. No, don't worry. Don't worry. Oh, come on, don't be a drama queen. I'm in the zone here. But
I'm sorry.
I think that actually shows up. But okay. But there was one other... Oh my god, that was gross.
The only reason I bought the game to begin was... The only reason I bought the BAME... But, as if that... Well, the microtransaction... Should I do an outtakes thing?
Yeah.
Well, the microtrans... Well... Why is microtransactions so fucking hard to say?
Microtransaction.
Should I do that reverb thing? Microtransactions! Well, the micro...
I was saving you from faking.
Faking up? It started with the Halloween event where everybody... What the fuck is an everybody? These packs would which were also in the pool of packs you could get...